My guys, hi, how are you? As I told you last week, there is a very big revolution that is ongoing, especially in terms of the effects of AI and the world trade. Microsoft has just fired 6,000 employees globally, including the head of AI, in a restructuring program that is ongoing. This same trend is happening, especially in the NGO world. Uh, we talked about USAID and what those particular effects have had, especially on our Kenyan brothers and sisters who have been working for these organizations and donors. But yeah, this thing is real, man. It's coming to you, and if again I repeat, if your job involves analysis or just processing data or giving advice, you really better need to have a relook at what are your options. And then number two, also not to scare you, AI also is not like a threat per se. AI is a tool, and what will differentiate you with the rest is how do you use AI tools to be able to optimize in terms of what you're doing at your work. So it's not all gloomy. This is a tool, the same way Google brought the search engine revolution and killed the library is the same revolution that is happening right now with AI. So a lot of people will be displaced, but also a lot of opportunities will also pop up. And this is why I keep on saying it's time now to ensure that whatever you're doing or whatever IT project you are involved in, ensure there is a product behind it. Again, I think I read today morning 90% of the startups, especially in Kenya and Africa, do not have a reason to be there because literally they're solving no problem. And this has been seen, especially with the funding crunch, where a lot of startups are closing down just because of funding. So, what that tells you, that particular startup was built upon, I'll call it what, it's more of a Ponzi kind of a scheme where a lot of startups have been going for funding, doing very beautiful presentations, PowerPoints, getting funds, and maybe within a year or less, they have vanished with millions and sometimes billions of investors' money. So I think it's a wake up call to all of us. Number one, ethics is top. It has to be everywhere. When you do your things in an ethical way, with a name to solve a problem, and with a product that is backing it up, you will always survive no matter what wave comes through. Because especially for organizations that have real problems they're solving, AI has become a tool, not a threat. So my big question is, if you're a startup founder, or you're working for a startup, or you're working for any of these big organizations, are you solving a real problem, or you are just there existing to benefit either from donor funding, or yeah, or maybe it's not your reason. It's only that your work has now become redundant. There is a tool that is able to do it much better. But again, I still insist, especially for us in Africa, one key goal that we have is the agri-tech ecosystem. And if our leaders, or us ourselves, and especially the technocrats who are also being laid off, we can be able to come down and do some proper value addition in the various agricultural value chains that we have. Those are some of the areas that AI will never be able to replace anytime soon. And countries all over the world are now looking internally. So you have to ask yourself, what do you have as a country? What do you have as a county? What do you have as an individual that you can be able to leverage on to be able to survive this wave that is currently ongoing? Now, you might not have felt the effects of this job loss wave that is currently ongoing, because a lot of guys who are being laid off are also being given very good packages to last them maybe 6 months or so. But very soon, especially by end of this year, around December, Q1 of next year, those effects of the kind of job losses that is happening across all ecosystems will be felt by everybody. Yeah, look at the upmarket places, Runda, areas around the UN complex. Big bodies like UN are also scaling down. So again, I'm just triggering your your thoughts or your mind to not panic, but to figure out what problem are you really solving, how do you leverage AI in whatever you're doing, and what other ecosystems can you be able to get yourself into that will leverage on the expertise, the connection, and the experience that you have gotten from these big corporate jobs. So, guys, want to hear your comments? Tell me, how are you surviving this wave, or do you see it as an advantage or a disadvantage with this whole AI revolution that is ongoing? Looking forward to your comments. Tyrus here. See you. Cheers.